Good evening and welcome to our very first news bulletin for this year. Niue prepares to house elephants on the island for quarantine. Niue police commend the island for what was a successful and safe festive season period. Winners were named and recognized in the inaugural Kitana Niue Film Festival. The island welcomed the new year in style with the traditional takai held on Saturday the 11th of January. Niue is developing a quarantine station to house elephants on the island at a site located at Kaho in Avasele. Last Saturday, a delegation from New Zealand led by Honourable Don McKinnon arrived to inspect the area to see whether it would be sufficient to house the elephants. The Sri Lankan government gifted 2 elephants to the Auckland Zoo and an agreement was made with the Niue government to quarantine the elephants on island. Minister Billy Talangi says that the delegation was satisfied and pleased with the development so far, and that the Niue government would also be receiving funds for lease and development of the quarantine station. Discussions regarding the arrangements for the elephants have taken some time, but the project is now well underway, making steady progress, with the completion of the quarantine station expected in 4 weeks' time. Electric fencing will be installed and staff quarters are also being built, as well as an observation deck that will allow locals and students to have access to viewing the elephants. This coming Saturday, staff who will be responsible of taking care of the elephants will also be arriving. Minister Talangi said that the first elephant will arrive in March and will be quarantined on island for approximately 3 months or more before being sent to New Zealand. If all goes well, arrangements will also be made to bring the second elephant. Niue police have reported a drop in traffic offences and disorderly conduct over the festive period as a reflection of successful campaigns throughout the year. The official festive season started from the 1st of December of last year until the 10th of January this year. That was generally peaceful in comparison to previous years.
We did go through a good festive season with no motor vehicle accidents. If we did have, there were minor ones, but we didn't have any reports anyway in regards to motor vehicle accidents. We also had a good run with evidential breath testing. We did how many point checks on the road to ensure that people don't drink and drive. We only received 1 report to this day. So, you know, we've had a few disorderly misconduct cases, but that comes in partial with, you know, what goes through the festive season. But I'm pleased to say that we did have a good festive season. And if I compare it to the previous years, we've pretty much had a pretty high number of drink driving and also with disorderly behaviour cases and also with motor vehicle accidents. So you can see that the numbers have dropped through this festive season, and and that goes along with all the programs that we've put in place to ensure that we go through a good season.
The department is looking forward to working with the community to change mindsets and encourage people to abide by the laws.
Changing mindsets of people is what we intend to do, is to try and change that mindset, just to get people to think differently, and that's one of them, is to think before they do things. And the other thing is that people need to come forward to police, and if they want assistance, they need to come to us. We're willing to put our hand out to serve the community and help the community. We're always not going to get the people coming out to give us their hand, but we want to do that. We want to get out there to the communities and participate with them, interact with them, just so that we can get a better understanding between the police and the community.
Chief Edward says that the outlook for this year will be to continue with proactive community-focused programs and activities, dialogue and discussions to strengthen public relations, as well as professional development opportunities for staff. In addition, the department is expecting some amendments to legislation, such as the Transport Act. Public submissions and comments are being sought for the Transport Amendment Bill. That bill was discussed in the Niue Legislative Assembly meeting at the end of last year. Members of the general public now have the opportunity to review and make comments through public submissions before the bill can be returned for final consideration. The bill will provide Niue Police with powers to issue infringement notices and apply on-the-spot fines and other amendments to be made to the Transport Act of 1965. The Bills Committee will be taking public submissions or comments that close on Thursday this week at midday. Local and aspiring filmmakers were recognized for their efforts during the inaugural Kitana Niue Film Awards evening held earlier this month. The event, organized by a newly established Filmmakers Association, was held at Talo's restaurant, marked the beginning of what is hoped to be an ongoing event. Kitana Niue directors and judges Frank Holo, Moira Initama and Taichi Fox had their hands full to decide who would be the deserving winners in each of the categories. From humble beginnings, it is hoped that this event will develop more interest from Niueans to use film as a medium to share their stories and insights. The winners on the evening included the Best Wangahau Niue Music Video. That went to DJ Ye, King Kaukasi with Niue My Paradise. BCN Productions' Survival of Taonga Niue received Best Documentary Award. The Best Drama Film by upcoming filmmaker Atron Tatui was based on Theo Etuata's gym session, Island Style. The Best 60-second film was awarded to Aulu Niue, a short production from Pamela Fulani, Abigail Peter and Natasha Toyono Tohovaka. Best Comedy Film from TKR Productions, Spider-Man Tully Comes to Town. The Best Animation Film Award went to Janam Hopotoa and Jale Lomaloma for their production, Fa'o. The Best Tourist Film Award was awarded to Cleveland Tupitangi of New Zealand, titled Returning Home. The Best Overseas Film category that received more than 400 entries, the winning entry was Deadly Joke by a first-time filmmaker all the way from India. And the Best Director and Best Editing Award went to Shane Tovaka. Kitana Niue director Frank Holo expressed views that the expectation for more Niueans to start working to document and tell their stories using film and in turn sharing our stories with the rest of the world. This is only the beginning of what is hoped to grow and progress further. Locals and visitors alike welcomed the new year with a bang in the traditional Takai celebrations on the 10th of January. Takai is a local New Year tradition that concludes a whole week of early morning church services. A whole lot of vehicles that wouldn't normally get a warrant to get out on the road came out of the works just for the day. Villagers had their own competitions for the best decorations, outfits, most outrageous costumes, and so forth. The focus of the event is community spirit. The noisier the takai, the better. And an expectation that with the takai comes the lolly scrambles as well. The villagers of Avasele and Makefu opted to hold their takais early on Friday, with a few extra people joining in before departing the island on flight on Saturday. These two villages would set the standard for those to follow the next day, and most of the takais started in the afternoon on Saturday, the 10th. Police were on standby to monitor the progress of the takai with very little disruptions, but it was Hakupotua who had the longest, the loudest and the most motorbikes this year. The toots and mufflers were deafening, but all part and parcel of a long-held Niuean tradition. There were no major incidents, a few motor vehicles died along the way, but overall it was a successful way to rein in the new year. And that concludes our news bulletin for this evening.